I was amongst the first 400 in Australia. My name is David Polson. I'm HIV positive and this is Plus Life. I'm 65. I was born in New Zealand. I came over to Australia when I was 18. I got a scholarship from Hayes Gordon to study acting at the Ensemble Theatre. I was young and I wanted to have fun, so the theatre went by the by and I just enjoyed myself for a few years. Then I got into deluxe hotels. I had a fantastic time there. I had a great job managing the Don Burrows Supper Club at the Regent Hotel. That's when I contracted HIV in 1984. I took the HIV test, and in those days it took weeks and weeks and weeks to come back. I went on holiday and came back and I was still feeling ill, so I went to the doctor. Then my doctor came out and he said, "David, please come through." Of course, I knew what the news was, and so he told me I was HIV positive. I was amongst the first 400 in Australia. So yes, it was a pretty frightening time. Well, there was a certain death sentence then. I felt like I was falling down a big, black, endless pit. All these thoughts were swirling around in my head. Disbelief, guilt, shame, suffocating terror. But then, I don't know what stopped me, but something stopped me and I just said in my mind, no. No, you are not going to die from AIDS. It will not kill you. And I said to him, I'm not going to die from this. It will not kill me. I was able to see Professor David Cooper, now sadly departed, but he was Dr. Cooper when I saw him. And he started me on AZT. It got awful, so he took me off that. And then I was on a series of 28 drug trials for him. And they were all horrible. Every single drug was horrible. The side effects were awful. Some are permanent, but they saved my life. It's called superficial siderosis. It's bleeding on the cerebellum. The cerebellum controls movement in the whole body, so that's my biggest challenge. Other than that, I would be having a totally normal life now thanks to the new drugs. That was the worst thing. Because of the hatred and discrimination and fear of HIV/AIDS in those days, he said, don't tell anyone. There was no support, there was no psychological support, there was no medical support, there was nothing. I told 2 friends and my cousin who lives here, and that was it. And that's all I told for several years. Because I was terrified. The far religious right were targeting people with HIV, so I just kept very, very quiet. And it was an extra burden on top of knowing you had this, then, terminal disease. So it wasn't easy. I'm an atheist, an avowed atheist. I believe in the power of the mind. I'm not a spiritual person, I'm not a religious person. I think it's all a load of crap, personally. But everyone is entitled to believe whatever fairy tale or fable they want to. Well, it doesn't dominate my life, only when I'm doing the advocacy work. Otherwise, I'm a poly just living life and enjoying myself. If you said to me in '84, do you think you'll be here in 2019, I would have laughed at you. But here I am. Don't be worried. This is nothing to be afraid of anymore. This is not 1984, it's 2019. HIV is nothing to worry about.